Hey everyone, welcome back to the Plant Studio. It's October, and while most people are putting their gardens to bed, smart gardeners know this is actually prime planting time. The soil is still warm from summer, but the cool air means plants can focus all their energy on building strong root systems instead of producing flowers. This creates tougher, more resilient plants that will explode with growth come spring. Today, I'm walking you through 12 cold-hardy perennials that you can plant right now in October. These aren't just survivors, they're plants that will give you gorgeous foliage, winter blooms, and early spring color when you need it most. Let's get started. Plant 1. Hellebores. First up, Hellebores, also called Christmas rose or Lenten rose, and these are absolute champions of the winter garden. Hellebores are unique because they bloom in late winter to early spring, often pushing their flowers up through snow. We're talking January, February, March blooms when literally nothing else is flowering. Right now in October, you can find them as bare root plants or in containers at most garden centers, and this is the perfect time to get them in the ground. These plants are shade lovers, which makes them incredibly valuable because they brighten up those dark corners of your garden in the depths of winter. They're also deer-resistant, and once established, they're nearly indestructible. The flowers come in an incredible range: pure whites, soft pinks, deep purples, and even dramatic near-black varieties. And here's a bonus: the flowers last for months, not weeks. Plant hellebores where you'll see them in late winter. Put them near a walkway by your kitchen window or close to your front door. Trust me, when it's gray and cold outside and you look out to see those beautiful blooms, it'll lift your spirits like nothing else. Plant 2. Pansies and Violas. Number 2. Pansies and Violas. Now you might think of these as annuals, but in many climates they're actually short-lived perennials, and they are incredibly cold-hardy. Here's what makes them special for October planting. Pansies and violas thrive in cool weather. In fact, they perform better in fall and winter than they do in summer heat. These cheerful little faces can handle frost, light freezes, and temperatures down into the teens Fahrenheit, and they'll keep blooming through it all. Plant them now, and you'll get continuous color from October through winter and into spring. In milder climates, they barely slow down at all. In colder zones, they might take a brief pause during the harshest weeks, but they bounce right back. For best results, deadhead spent blooms regularly to encourage more flowers and give them a light feeding with liquid fertilizer every few weeks while they're actively growing. Plant them in containers near your entrance, along borders, or anywhere you want reliable color during the dreariest months of the year. Coming in at number 3, Hechera, commonly known as coral bells, and these are foliage powerhouses. If you want year-round interest in your garden, Hechera is essential. The leaves come in the most incredible range of colors: deep burgundy, lime green, peachy orange, silvery purple, and everything in between. Some varieties even have multiple colors in a single leaf. And here's the thing: that foliage persists through winter in zones 4 through 9. October is an excellent time to plant Hechera because they establish quickly in cool weather. In late spring, they'll send up delicate flower spikes with tiny bell-shaped blooms, but honestly, we grow these primarily for those stunning leaves. Use Hechera as edging plants along pathways, tuck them into containers, or mass them in shady beds. They work beautifully under trees where grass struggles to grow. And in winter, when most perennials have died back, your Hechera will still be there, providing color and structure to the garden. Plant 4. Ornamental kale and cabbage. Number 4. Ornamental kale and cabbage, and these are absolute showstoppers for fall and winter gardens. These are the same species as the vegetables we eat, but they've been bred for their spectacular appearance rather than flavor. The centers form tight rosettes that look remarkably like roses, with ruffled, frilly leaves in combinations of purple, pink, white, and green. Here's the magic: ornamental kale and cabbage actually get more beautiful as temperatures drop. Light frost intensifies their colors, making those centers deeper and more vibrant. Plant them now in October, and by Thanksgiving they'll be absolutely stunning. They'll hold that beauty straight through winter, often lasting until spring. They work beautifully in containers, especially flanking a front door or on a porch. You can also plant them in masses in garden beds for serious visual impact. They typically grow 12 to 15 inches tall and wide, so give them adequate spacing. And don't worry about frost. They can handle temperatures well below freezing. Plant 5. Evergreen candytuft. At number 5, evergreen candytuft, botanically known as Iberis sempervirens, and the name tells you exactly why it's valuable. It's evergreen. This low-growing perennial forms dense mounds of narrow, dark green foliage that stays green all year long, even in Zone 3, where winter temperatures can be brutal. When you plant candytuft in October, you're not just planning for spring flowers, you're getting immediate structure and color in your garden. Come spring, usually April or May, candytuft absolutely covers itself in clusters of pure white flowers. It's one of those spring bloomers that's so covered in blooms you can barely see the foliage. But even when it's not flowering, those evergreen mounds are doing important work in your garden design. Candytuft is perfect for rock gardens, as an edging plant along borders or spilling over walls and raised beds. It only grows about 6 to 12 inches tall, but can spread 12 to 18 inches wide, creating lovely mounded shapes. It prefers full sun to partial shade, and once established, it's quite drought tolerant. Plant 6. Winter Jasmine. Number 6. Winter Jasmine, or Jasminum nudiflorum, and this plant lives up to its name by blooming in the middle of winter. Winter jasmine is actually a vining shrub that produces bright, cheerful yellow flowers on bare green stems in late winter. We're talking January, February, sometimes even December in milder climates. It's not a true jasmine and doesn't have fragrance, but that pop of sunny yellow against a winter landscape is incredibly uplifting. October planting gives winter jasmine time to establish roots before the ground freezes. The plant itself is hardy down to Zone 6, and in Zone 7 and warmer, it's practically bulletproof. The stems are bright green and provide winter interest even before the flowers appear. Winter jasmine has a sprawling, cascading growth habit. It can spread 4 to 7 feet and grow 3 to 4 feet tall. You can let it sprawl as a ground cover, train it up a trellis or fence, or let it cascade over a wall. It's not fussy about soil and handles urban conditions well. Just give it full sun to partial shade, and it'll reward you with those cheerful yellow flowers when you need them most. Plant 7. Primroses. Lucky number 7. Primroses, from the genus Primula, and these are classic cottage garden perennials that are tougher than they look. Primroses are cool season plants, which means October is actually the ideal time to plant them. They struggle in summer heat, but thrive in the cool temperatures of fall, winter, and early spring. When you plant them now, they'll establish nicely through fall and then burst into bloom in late winter through spring. The color range is remarkable. You can find primroses in nearly every color except true blue, including yellows, reds, pinks, purples, whites, and bicolors. Many varieties have that classic yellow eye in the center of the flower. They typically grow 6 to 12 inches tall and work beautifully in shady to partly shady spots where early spring color is hard to come by. Primroses prefer consistently moist soil, not waterlogged but not dried out either. Mulch around them to help retain moisture and protect roots through winter. In zones 4 through 8, they're reliably perennial. Plant them in groups for the best visual impact, and you'll have drifts of cheerful color when spring arrives. Plant 8. Liriope, lily turf. Number 8. Liriope, commonly called lily turf or monkey grass, and this is one of the most versatile, low-maintenance perennials you can plant. Liriope has grass-like foliage that stays evergreen in most climates. Right now in October, you might still see its late-season flower spikes, small purple or white blooms on upright stems, but the real value is that clumping, arching foliage that provides texture and stays green through winter, even in Zone 5. Fall planting is ideal for Liriope because it establishes a strong root system before winter, and by spring you'll have a plant that looks like it's been there for years. It's incredibly adaptable. It grows in full sun to full shade, tolerates drought once established, and handles everything from clay to sandy soil. Use Liriope as edging along pathways or driveways. Plant it in mass as a ground cover under trees where grass won't grow. It works beautifully in containers too. The plants grow about 12 to 18 inches tall and slowly spread to form nice clumps. And here's a bonus: deer and rabbits leave it alone. Plant 9. Bergenia elephant ears. Number 9. Bergenia, sometimes called elephant ears because of its large, bold leaves. This is not the tropical elephant ear. This is a cold, hardy perennial that's evergreen in many climates. Bergenia has thick, glossy leaves that can be as large as 8 to 10 inches across. In cool weather, many varieties develop beautiful burgundy or bronze tones in the foliage, which makes them spectacular for winter interest. Plant them now in October, and you'll immediately have that bold foliage presence in your garden. In early spring, Bergenia sends up thick stems topped with clusters of pink, white, or red flowers. They're not huge blooms, but they're charming and they appear very early in the season. The plant is hardy in zones 3 through 8, which covers most of the United States. Bergenia prefers partial shade, but can handle full sun in cooler climates. It's excellent planted in groups where you can appreciate those large leaves. Try planting them where winter sun will backlight the colored foliage. The effect is stunning. They grow about 12 to 18 inches tall and make excellent companions for hellebores, heuchera, and ferns. Plant 10. Sedum stonecrop. Number 10. Sedum, specifically the upright varieties, like Autumn Joy, and these are the ultimate low-maintenance perennials. If you look at sedum right now in October, you'll see why they're perfect for this time of year. The flower heads that were pink or rose-colored in late summer have now turned to russet, bronze, and burgundy. And here's the thing. Those dried flower heads will persist through the entire winter, providing architectural interest and food for birds. The succulent foliage is incredibly cold-hardy and drought-tolerant. Sedum stores water in its leaves, which means it can handle neglect like few other perennials. When you plant sedum now, you're setting yourself up for an easier garden next year. The plants will establish through fall, go dormant over winter, and then come back strong in spring. Upright sedums typically grow 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. They prefer full sun and well-drained soil. They're one of the few perennials that actually prefers lean soil over rich amended soil. Plant them in groups, use them in mixed borders or grow them in containers, and resist the urge to cut them back in fall. Leave those seed heads standing for winter interest. Plant 11. Perennial dianthus, pinks. Number 11. Perennial dianthus, also called pinks, and these old-fashioned favorites are making a well-deserved comeback. Dianthus has beautiful blue-gray foliage that forms low mats or mounds, and that foliage is evergreen in zones 5 through 9. Even under snow, those blue-green leaves persist. October planting means you get that foliage color immediately, and you're setting yourself up for an incredible floral display in late spring. The flowers are the real showstoppers. They have fringed petals in pinks, reds, whites, and bicolors, and many varieties are intensely fragrant with a spicy clove-like scent. When dianthus blooms, usually in May and June, it's absolutely covered in flowers. Dianthus prefers full sun and well-drained soil. It's perfect for rock gardens, along border edges, or anywhere you want low-growing evergreen foliage with spectacular spring bloom. The plants typically grow 6 to 12 inches tall and spread 12 to 18 inches. Shear them back lightly after flowering to keep them tidy and encourage repeat blooming. Plant 12. Creeping phlox. And finally, number 12. Creeping phlox, botanically Phlox subulata, and I saved this one for last because it's a true showstopper. Creeping phlox forms low, spreading mats of needle-like evergreen foliage. When you plant it now in October, it doesn't look like much, just these small low plants with fine textured leaves. But be patient, because next April or May, this plant will completely transform into a carpet of flowers. When creeping phlox blooms, it's so covered in flowers that you can barely see the foliage. The flowers come in brilliant pinks, purples, blues, whites, and reds. Picture slopes covered in color, or rocks surrounded by flowers, or the edge of a garden bed absolutely blazing with bloom. That's creeping phlox. It's incredibly versatile. Use it on slopes for erosion control, let it spill over walls or rocks, plant it in rock gardens, or use it as a ground cover. It grows only 4 to 6 inches tall but can spread 2 feet or more. It prefers full sun and good drainage, and once established, it's drought-tolerant and low-maintenance. October planting means the plants experience less stress from heat, and they have time to develop strong roots before winter. By the time spring arrives, they'll be ready to put on that spectacular show. And there you have it, 12 cold-hardy perennials that you can plant right now in October for winter interest and early spring color. Let's quickly recap. We covered hellebores for winter blooms, pansies and violas for continuous color, heuchera for stunning foliage, ornamental kale for bold fall and winter display, evergreen candytuft for year-round structure, winter jasmine for late winter flowers, primroses for early spring color, liriope for evergreen texture, bergenia for bold winter foliage, sedum for architectural interest, dianthus for fragrant spring blooms, and creeping phlox for spectacular spring carpets of color. Here's what I want you to understand. October planting isn't just acceptable, it's actually superior to spring planting for many perennials. When you plant in fall, the soil is warm and roots grow quickly, but cool air temperatures mean the plant isn't stressed trying to support top growth and blooms. The plant can put all its energy into establishing a strong root system. Then, when spring arrives, you have a well-established plant that's ready to grow vigorously, instead of a new plant that's still trying to settle in. Most nurseries are clearing out perennials right now, which often means good prices. Look for healthy plants with good root systems. Don't worry if the top growth looks a bit tired. Water newly planted perennials thoroughly and mulch around them to protect roots and retain moisture. One final tip: when you plant perennials in fall, water them regularly until the ground freezes. This is crucial. Those roots need moisture to establish. Once the ground freezes, you can stop watering, but until then, make sure your new plants aren't drying out. So grab your gloves, head to the garden center, and take advantage of this perfect planting window. Your future self will thank you when your neighbors are looking at brown, empty gardens and you're enjoying color, texture, and life. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which of these 12 perennials you're most excited to try. And if you want more seasonal planting guides and practical gardening advice, make sure you're subscribed to Plant Studio. Thanks for watching and happy planting!